Welcome back to the YouTube. How are you all doing? By the way, if you're wondering why I'm looking off to the right here, it's because my camera has a screen to the right and it's just more natural for me to look at this of me rather than this. It feels a bit weird looking deep into the camera like that, so off to the side it is. Anyway, today I'm going to take you through how to structure a pull session. I'm going to set up the mic as well and talk you through each movement, why I do certain things, how I do certain things, why it's structured like that, why the volume is like that. So just bear in mind that at the moment I'm 2 weeks out from a photo shoot. So the photo shoot is on the 13th of April, which is 2 and a bit weeks away. So I'm planning to finish my diet on the Sunday. The photo shoot is on a Thursday, and then I'll basically do a linear load up until the photo shoot. Basically that means where you slowly increase your calories up to fill out, make yourself appear bigger. Because at the moment I'm obviously very flat, depleted in carbohydrates, depleted in glycogen, makes the muscle not have that pop. So I need to have a period of about 3 to 4 days where I slowly increase calories up so I look big and massive come the day of the photo shoot. So today's pull session, I'm going to show you my logbook. It's a bit of a mess, I'm not going to lie, but I can understand it. So I'm going to show you how I like to lay it out and then run you through each movement before we go into the session later on. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that okay. I'm a bit close to the camera, but we're going to go with it. So as you can see, I've got the session here. I've got my previous week's numbers here and here. I've got the movement, the rep ranges I'm going for. So you can see the first movement here is a pronated pull down. First set, the bottom number of the rep range is 5. So I put 5 there. Second set, the bottom number is 10, so I put 10 there. Any kind of changes in tempo, I just write underneath the movement. So you can see 1 in the L, that means 1 second pause in the lengthened range. So as I move my arms up, pause slightly at the top and then drive it back down. Obviously that's written down, so I know I need to do that every single week. I put little stars next to the movement here and then also a star at the bottom if I kind of make any changes, if I need to write down any further notes about that particular movement, the particular setup of the movement. So you can see with the star here, I changed it from a single arm dumbbell row, which is obviously a free weight movement, to a machine single arm row, which is targeting the same muscle, but because I'm locked into a machine, I'm able to have more stability, which at this stage in the diet is going to be probably more beneficial for me. I don't really want to be doing a big free weight movement that's going to definitely impact movements to follow when I can get the same or very similar stimulus from doing a machine. And at the end of the day, my goal right now is not to build muscle, it's just to retain muscle tissue. So I want to do as little as possible. So what you'll notice from this particular workout is the volume overall is quite low. There's only 15 total working sets, I believe. So like I said, we start with a pronated pull down, which is an upper back bias row. We then go into our single arm lat work. We then come back to upper back and then another lat variation. And then we come on to rear delts, or an isolation rear delt movement, and then finishing up with arms. I like to train arms, both tris and bis, at the end of push and pull sessions. So we're going with a cable curl and then a cuffed tricep extension. So that, if you want to pause it, is how I lay out my logbook. I'm in need of a new one, but my plan is to buy one from the coach once I've finished my diet, and I'm going to make some slight alterations to my training plan. Obviously, as calories go back up, I can slowly start to titrate my volume back up, but that will obviously come with time and just progressing it slowly week after week. But for now, this logbook's gonna have to do. As you can see, it's on its last legs. But like I said, it will do for now. So I'm gonna get in the car, drive to the coach, and we'll have a little chat when we get there about how I'm setting up particular movements, why I'm doing particular movements, certain cues that you can use for these movements. And if you've got any questions at all, comment down below or DM me on Instagram. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the video. We're nearly at 100 subscribers. I think it's like 78 or something, which is decent. I'm happy with that. I don't get too caught up in the numbers because I'm just enjoying making these videos. So I don't try to look at the views too much. I'm just enjoying making them, to be honest. At this stage in the diet, I'm feeling not too bad, to be fair. I feel a little bit more drained, obviously. As you can probably tell by my voice, everything's just down a notch a little bit. However, in terms of productivity with business, with clients, I feel great. I feel fantastic. I always find that when you start a diet, or when you're in the depths of a diet, your routine and your structure is just on point. And because you're not consuming so many carbohydrates, there's a fine line, because There's a point where you get up to where you feel really switched on because you're not consuming as many carbohydrates and you feel less lethargic. But then it gets to a point in the diet where it starts to go back the other way, where you feel a bit more drained, a bit more run down. But right now, I feel good. Sleep's really good. That is a pivotal point as to why this diet has gone so well, sleep and recovery. Training is still good. I mean, I start to kind of drop off towards the back end of sessions and I kind of feel like I'm dragging my ass a little bit, but not too bad. Hunger has been okay, manageable. I'm eating 5 meals a day, so I'm having protein servings every 2.5 to 3 hours. I time it quite well so that when I get back from my workout, I eat and then I've got like another meal an hour and a half later, and another meal an hour and a half later, and then I go to bed. Usually by the time I'm getting quite hungry again, it's time to eat, so it's not too bad. Throughout the rest of this video, I'm gonna show you some recent clothing pickups that I've got, which includes this hoodie, which is I'll give you a little sneak preview there, as well as a different jumper and a t-shirt that I got from Represent. Very, very happy with these pickups. And Molly is also coming over later to wax my beard line and eyebrows, which I've never had done before. But Molly is the girl that waxed my full body. We had an agreement where I would PT her up to her holiday in Ibiza, and she's gonna come around once a week and make me look pretty, basically. So yeah, she's coming over later to do that. But for now, I'm gonna get in the car, shoot off, and we'll chat when we get there. So first movement up, we've got this old school Nautilus abdominal crunch, and it was my first time using this bit of kit a few weeks back. It's really, really nice. The only problem with it is the stack is quite light, so I'll just be using the stack, but eventually I'll move up and gym pin it. When it comes to any kind of ab movement, what you want to focus on doing is literally curling your spine down and extending it up. So great thing about the machine is you just move to where the machine wants you to go. But if you're doing something like a cable crunch or anything like that, same thing applies. Just focus on flexing and extending the spine. A lot of people, when they're doing a cable crunch, you see them bouncing up and down, but they're not really contracting their abs as much as they could be. So almost imagine you're curling the spine down. Slight pause, come up, allow the weight stack to touch. For me, I like doing that, and then come back down. Crunch hard. And with this and other movements, by just allowing the weight stack to touch, called dead stopping, you're standardizing your form, so you know you're coming up to the same point every single time, and you'll notice that I'm not bouncing the reps, I'm not smashing the weight plates down and then coming back up. I'm just allowing a slight touch, pause, so I know I'm coming up to the same spot every single time, and then go back down. All right, working set then. Last time we got 12. Let's see what we can get. No. 14. One thing to note quickly when it comes to training abs, I like to train them at the start of sessions because they get the time and attention and effort level that they need. If you train them at the end, they don't get the same intensity, and then, you know, people often wonder, well, why are my abs growing? It's because you're treating them as like an afterthought. Train them first, train them hard, and they're not going to impact the session to follow. You know, I'm only doing 3 sets, but by training them first, they're getting the attention that they need, they're getting the intensity that they need. And that is the difference between growing abs and maybe not growing abs. So something to consider. Right, so next movement here, got an upper back bias pull down. See that I've opted for the prime bar with D handles as opposed to a straight bar, just because it allows for a little bit more freedom of movement at the wrist and elbow joint. You can really line up that elbow part for the upper back. Straight bar's not bad, don't get me wrong, but for me personally, this works better. As opposed to coming straight pronated like this, you can just use the D handles to turn your wrist outwards slightly, so you come semi-pronated, which, like I said, lines up better with the upper back. So you can see with my grip, just outside of shoulder width. From here, I just lean back slightly, keep my torso leant back in this fixed position, and then I'm just thinking about driving my elbows down past my torso. As I come up, thinking about pushing my shoulder blades forward, getting a good stretch at the top, but I'm not allowing myself to rock forward like this. My body stays fixed here, shoulder blades forward, and then driving back down, thinking about pinching them together behind me. Big stretch at the top, slight pause, drive down. Beautiful. So when it comes to warm-up sets, at the start of the session, usually I do 2 or 3 warm-up sets. I'll kind of just base it on how I'm feeling. So I've just progressed the weight up from the previous warm-up set.
and I'll just aim to do slightly less reps. So as you can see, the first warm-up set is a lighter load with more reps. Progress the weight up, reduce the reps, progress the weight up again and reduce the reps further. And then by that point, I'll be ready to work. So this is my second warm-up set, progress the weight slightly, see how it feels. So final warm-up now. You're not using straps and pulling movements. Trust me, you're missing out on reps because your forearms are always going to give way before the back does. So use some down straps, all right? Bosh. Right, I'm going to film the back off because I just filmed my top set and the angle was terrible. So take two. Something to note with this, you want to get your legs as far underneath this pad as you can and sandwich that pad down. If you can get more stable in the movement, you're going to be able to produce more force, get more reps or move more load. So you can see I'll put my legs as far under the pad as I can. And then from here, I'm just going to press the pad down. So that's like firmly locked in. That's giving my quad a bit of cramp even. Fuck. Right, let's see what we can get here. 12 last time, so the goal is 13 or 14. Damn reps, come on. Right, so now we're moving on to the lat work. Using the Polaris machine for this. If you set it up correctly, it makes a really nice single arm lat row. So when it comes to training lats, a bit different to training upper back. You want to focus on keeping your elbow nice and close into the body and driving it down towards your pocket. So you can see here, I'll position the seat quite high up, chest pad about midway out. Just going to position my opposite hand out on the end of the machine here, hold the hand at the top, and then from here, I'm thinking about just crunching down to the working side. So slight spinal flexion down to the working side here, and then literally watch my elbow path. Down to the pocket, in line with the spine, doesn't come past my torso. I'm not driving back here. I'm literally just thinking about driving my elbow down towards my pocket. Coming up to the point where my arm comes straight, you don't need to overstretch and come all the way forward like this. There. Arm straight, back down. Slight pause here to minimize any momentum. And down. Quality. Right, working set. Let's get it. Something else to consider with this movement. Whatever side you're working, that foot should be forward. Just for that stability factor that I spoke about earlier. If that foot's planted, you're not going anywhere. And again, if you can increase stability in the movement, you're going to be able to move more load or get more reps. So you can see this foot forward, this foot slightly back, and again, pull the weight back, crunch down to the working side, and elbow to pocket. Me, now we're coming back to the upper back work, chest support T-bar. Main cues I'm thinking about this movement, similar to the previous upper back movement, allowing my shoulder blades to roll forward at the bottom of the movement, and then thinking about pinching them together as I drive my elbows back. So at this point in the workout, I'm pretty warm, so I'm just going to do 2 warm-up sets. This is my last warm-up, then we're going to the working weight. So you'll see here, I'll unrack the weight. First thing I do is allow my shoulder blades to roll forward, get a really good stretch at the bottom, and then thinking about driving my elbows back past my torso. Not flared out at a 90 degree, but like slightly tucked in. Big stretch, slight pause, drive back. You'll see here, I'm trying to keep my chest relatively on the pad. I don't want to be lifting it up like this. Keeping it on the pad slightly as I'm driving back. A little bit of lift up is fine. You don't want to be excessively lifting like this because then you're almost moving the weight through flexing your spine. This is an upper back movement, so aim to keep your chest on the pad, but like I said, a little bit of lift up at the top is fine. All right, so last week did this weight for 6 reps, so the goal is obviously 7. Personally on this T-bar, I like to have my feet just on the end of the platform here, hands similar to the previous upper back exercise, just outside of shoulder width. When it comes to pulling movements as well, I always opt for a thumb over grip, so I'm not grabbing the bar like this. I've got my thumb over You want to treat your hands like hooks when it comes to pulling movements. Otherwise, there's going to be a greater tendency for you to pull with your arms as opposed to with your back. So use straps, treat your hands like hooks. 7 reps then, boy, come on. Six and a half, I'm not gonna lie, feeling a little bit but the work gets done regardless. We aim to progress regardless. Obviously at this stage in the diet, can't expect to progress everything, as long as I'm trying to maintain numbers, get a good stimulus, that's all I can ask for. Now, back on some more lat work. This piece is absolutely unbelievable. The Nautilus pull down. So, similar to the last lat movement I said, whatever side you're working, you want that leg forward. So as you can see, I've sandwiched my leg underneath that pad, get it as tight as I can, more stability. I'm gonna grab hold of the handle, pull it back, opposite hand, brace that against the machine. And then just like with any lat movement, you're keeping your elbow nice and tight into the body, crunching down to the working side. So you can see I'm straight here, and I'm crunching down here. Now you can either come neutral grip, where your palms are facing inward, or you can come slightly semi-supinated. So that's neutral, semi-supinated. I like it just here. And then again, thinking about driving my elbow down towards my pocket. There. Come away to the point where my arm is basically straight, and back down. My left shoulder doesn't move forward. I'm not stretching like that. I'm just allowing my arm to extend, and then driving back down. What you see a lot of people do is, when they start to fatigue, they do this. And at that point, you're not using your lat anymore. Well, you obviously are to some extent, but you're using other muscle groups to help you move the weight from A to B. So, stay fixed in position, just thinking about driving your elbow down, and that is it. That is the only thing that should be moving. Into the working set. Last week, or the week before, was 50 for 7. So, we're obviously going to try and get 8. Sake. He's not looking good, Brev. 6.5. Match the reps. The next movement, we've got a dual cable rear delt fly. Quite lucky with this gym because we've got the Cybex bar, so you can use this chest pad here to support up against. But you can see I've positioned the cables in the highest position. My elbow path I'm thinking of is down like this. And I'm almost thinking about moving my arms out to the side, not back. This is a rear delt movement, not an upper back movement. So I don't want to have my traps up here, relax my traps, pull them down, thinking about moving my arms out to the side. Good stretch. Again, just know my elbow path here. I'm not coming there, coming high to slightly down. And again, I'm not coming all the way back. Just coming to the point where I can get my rear delts fully short. Moving the weight out to the side almost. Oh, fuck. Now we move on to arms. So firstly, we've got this Nautilus bicep curl machine. When it comes to a machine preacher curl, I'd usually recommend doing it single arm, just because you can fully align yourself with that working side. But with this machine, it's so good that you can do it bilaterally, which means with both arms or both legs, and it feels mint. So that's what I'm gonna do, just to save time. So I position the seat basically, so my armpits are properly sandwiched into the pad. So you can see, like, I can't really move myself any further forward. Now, the axis rotation on this machine is usually indicated by a bolt or a mark or something. So you want to align yourself with the axis rotation. So where the machine rotates, you want to line your elbow up with that point, because obviously you're hinging at the elbow. So you want your elbow joint to line up with where the machine rotates. And on that point, same goes for like a lying hamstring curl, seated hamstring curl, a leg extension, tricep machine. You know, they've all got an axis of rotation. Find the pivot point on the machine or the axis of rotation and line up whatever joint you're working with that point, whether that's your knee joint or your elbow joint. All right, time to work. Hope if I put the right weight on first, wouldn't it? That was tough. Upper rep though. Something to mention is when you are learning how to train hard, you're going to hit sticking points in the rep. When you start to move the weight, it just kind of stops almost. But often, if you just keep pushing through that rep, you'll get it. So next time you're in the gym and you feel yourself getting to the back end of the set and you're struggling a little bit and you're starting to hit those sticking points, just keep pushing. Even if you have to grind that final rep out and it ends up lasting 5-6 seconds, breathe through the rep. So breathe out, breathe back in sharply, reset your brace and just continue going. Because if you can do that, you'll probably crank out another 2 to 3 reps. So don't limit yourself. At the end of the day, the more effective reps you can get towards the back end of the set, the better. And that just means those reps that you do have to grind out, those really hard reps, they're deemed effective reps. And they're the ones that are going to make a serious difference to your physique. So get as many of those as you can with good form. That is the key. You know, you see people towards the back end of the set, their form starts to slip a little bit. So try to standardize your form, keep every single rep looking the same, and just take every set to damn failure, along with pushing your body weight up, and you're gonna f***ing grow. Simple as that. Final movement of the day, calf tricep extension. So here, focusing on keeping my elbows fixed in position, slightly behind, and then extending. So personally, I really like using the cuffs on this as opposed to the handles. It just helps for me minimize elbow pain, because I do tend to get a little bit of elbow pain on some tricep movements. So I like the cuff and just place it on like the outside of your wrist here. Just kind of hold it with your fingers like that. Oh, you cunt, man. So, I feel weak today. I'll be honest, that was a terrible session. Kept dropping reps, left, right and centre. However, I hope you got something out of it. So I thought I'd come in the posing room, do a little physique update. Feeling flat, but this is where we're at. I'm really not even in the mood to pose, I'm not gonna lie. I just wanna go home. How are we looking from the back? So that's it for today. I'll continue the video on because I want to do a little clothing haul, and then maybe I'll get some bits of Molly waxing my brows and beard. So as always, stay tuned. I'm absolutely ruined after that session. I feel f***ed. The diet is well and truly hitting me. So Molly's just come over, as you've seen. She's done my eyebrows and waxed my beard line. I don't know if you can see, but they're looking pretty clean. First time I've ever had like any work done on my eyebrows. So she's just like waxed the outline of them and then also waxed my beard line there to make it a little bit more pronounced. Pretty happy. I guess the ears and the nose are next. But I wanted to show you some recent things that I got from Represent. Well, I got these from Depop because I'll always have a look on Depop before I want to buy anything from Represent, because you can get some steals from there sometimes. And I have just done exactly that. I've got a hoodie, a jumper and a t-shirt for 200 quid, and they're basically brand new, still got the labels on. You can't tell they've been worn. I mean, the guy said like he'd worn them once but kept the labels on, so absolute steal. I'll take that every day of the week. So I'll show you. First up, we've got this
t-shirt. All of these are in an XL, by the way. Got a nice leopard print on the front with represent writing. I really like how this fits. Slightly oversized, obviously. Ignore the hat hair. Next, we've got this baby blue Owners Club jumper. This also fits very nice. Like, the quality is just unmatched. And then that's the back. Nice. And then finally, this is the hoodie that I was wearing in today's video, and this is my favourite piece. I really like the hoodies with no drawstrings, and this one's got like a clip on the hood here, and then it's got the same logo on the back. Very happy. 200 quid for those three. Usually this hoodie goes for 180, so the fact that I've got these three items for 200 quid is a steal, like I said. And also, pinched these from my dad. He got like these the Adidas Yeezy sliders, so yeah, I thought I'm nicking these. But that is it. So that will wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got this far, fair play. I hope you took some value from the session. I'll try and do some more of these if people find it valuable. So comment down below if there's a session you want to see, whether it's legs, push. I'm going to alter my training plan slightly. I'm still undecided whether I'm going to run the same split or I might swap to an upper-lower split where I train upper body 3 times a week and lower body 2 times a week. Just to trial it, see how I get on. But I did some calculations in terms of the volume, and it would mean that I'd have to do a lot of sets in the workout, because obviously if you're trying to hit every single muscle in your upper body, including arms, it adds up to quite a lot of sets. So I'm unsure yet. I need to do some further calculations to see if it would work. And obviously, for me at my stage in my lifting career, if you want to call it that, an upper-lower split might not be enough volume per muscle group per workout. And to be fair, this current split that I've been running now for the past 2 years, I think, has been working very well. And you know, I have got some weaker body parts like my hamstrings. I want to bring my arms up, maybe my side delts. So I'm almost tempted to just say, don't fix what's not broken and just add more volume where needed, which would be on those body parts, and prioritize them. I could potentially think about starting one of the sessions with arms, probably be a leg session. And then I could just add more hamstring work in and do that at the start of the leg session, but to be fair I already do, but just add more sets in. And then side delts, you can never have big enough side delts, and it's one of those muscles that you can just absolutely hammer with volume and they recover really, really well. What usually tends to be the case is the bigger the muscle, the longer it takes to recover, so you need less total volume. So things like quads, you don't need that much volume because it's such a big muscle. Glutes, again, back, don't need that much. When it comes to side delts, arms, rear delts, smaller muscles take less time to recover, so you can hammer them with a bit more volume. But we'll play around, we'll see. I think, you know, in my head I'm just kind of changing things for the sake of changing things almost, so I'll probably just stick to the same split, to be honest. But I'll talk to some people in the gym, some trusted sources, get their opinion on it, and we'll go from there. But yeah, like I said, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.